Hey guys, how you doing? Matt Jeffries, Conquer Diabetes here. So what I want to talk to you today about is the ketogenic diet. And I want to talk about my results from doing it for 6 weeks, expectations versus what happened, pros, cons, etc., etc. So, breakdown right away. What do I think about the ketogenic diet? It's pretty awesome. I really enjoyed it a lot. As far as what you can eat, what you can't eat, stuff like that, you really stay full for most of the time. I really didn't have a lot of huge cravings. I did have, the only craving I actually had were for sweets. For me personally, my biggest thing is gummy bears. It's kind of my Achilles heel on this thing. And but really, for the most part, it wasn't that tough. I stayed pretty full, pretty satiated, and throughout the entire process. Another big pro I really liked, and I don't know, like as far as everything just really clicked. It was I was able to think a lot more clearly, and I was able to get through my day much better. Another big pro was that I would crash after, say, lunchtime, stuff like that. And on the ketogenic diet, I didn't really have that. With ketogenic diet, I just kind of kept going. I wasn't tired throughout the day as I am on like a mostly carb-based diet. It was pretty nice. Another big thing was that when I was going through the ketogenic diet, I just felt better, man. Like I just felt better. Like it just. Once I got past that initial part of the diet, I felt really good. I was in a better mood. I mean, just all the stuff all that stuff just kind of went away. And when I was going through it and doing it, it really was a lot easier to get through my day on that. So when I originally went into this diet and I wanted to see how I reacted to it, I wanted to see what my results were. When I initially went through, my mindset and my thought pattern was, okay, we're going to get on this diet and I'm going to do crazy amounts of cardio. I'm going to get crazy in the gym, and I'm really going to show the full potential. If you're incredibly serious and you want to put forth all the effort, this is what can happen with you in 6 weeks. And day 2 of going through this diet and going through, the first 3 days are really rough, right? You go through kind of a withdrawal. You go through actual withdrawals from carbohydrates and sugar. And when I was going through that, and I'm in the gym, I was at Planet Fitness, which is where I like to work out. And when I was there and I was doing they have a little cardio route where you can do like steps and stuff like that in between different exercises. And I started thinking to myself, I'm like, for you watching this out there, is this something you're likely going to do? No, it's not. It's not. It's not. And so, realizing that, I'm like, okay, so what can somebody who has, kids, not a whole lot of time, what's a real expectation of what somebody who is going through making a really tough choice, which is just changing their entire diet perspective, cutting out all the fun stuff like alcohol and sugars and sweets and candies and all that stuff, and eating, high fat, low protein. What's that kind of person going to be going through and doing on this? And so I'm like, okay, I can't go about that route. So my normal workout session, it runs. Prior to doing this, my normal workout session usually went about 45 minutes to an hour. It's kind of like that was my daily grind with my workout. And I actually cut that back. During this process. I cut it back to about 30 minutes a day. Average workout, just enough time to go in, get done with the body part I need to get done, and then do a very quick cardio session. For me, it was about half a mile is what I would generally get done on an elliptical. And so that was my basic workout. Monday, I had International Chest Day, same guy here. Tuesday was my arms. Wednesday was back. Thursday shoulders. Friday legs. Saturday was more of a fun day, whatever I felt like working on. And then abs, of course, encompassed in that day. And then Sunday was my day off. So I kept that same schedule, cut it back, only did maybe 5 to 7 exercises per that day. And I was just really strict on the diet. So, and I didn't get crazy with cardio either. I mean, we're talking literally just half a mile on the elliptical, and that was it. And I wasn't spending a lot of time there. It was 30 minutes, 35 minutes, I'm out every day. And so I started out the diet at close to 255, ended it at 230 and some change. So I mean, that's pretty good for 6 weeks of somebody who is not getting crazy. I mean, the only real big difference in my life was my diet, and I actually cut back on exercise. So throughout that period, that was it. I mean, it was not really that tough. It wasn't hard. It was just literally just making sure I stuck to a diet, and I went ahead and did it. I didn't include any kind of intermittent fasting or anything like that. There was a change to my training technique, but honestly, I had actually gone lighter than what I've done for the past couple of years, like significantly lighter, approximately about 30 to even 40% lighter on most of my lifts than I would ever do. So, I actually cut back on all my exercise. So, how did the diet work out? How did I like it? Would I tell someone to do this? The answer is yes and no. Right? So, yes, because as far as a diet goes, I've been on a bunch. I've always, ever since I hit, I don't know, what was it, about 24 is when I could no longer go and eat whatever I wanted and not have to worry about gaining weight. So I've been on and off dieting, a constant roller coaster. I'm sure if you're watching this out there right now, you can understand where I'm coming from with that. So out of all the diets I've ever done, out of all the little things I've ever tried or gone through, I really have to say this is probably the best I ever felt dieting. It was probably the least amount of temptation that I ever had during a diet. And as far as that goes, it was really good. Now, downsides, and there are a couple. One, the adoption is incredibly tough. I mean, you were literally going through withdrawals. I remember the first 3 days, I had incredible headaches, especially at day 2.5, day 3. It was tough. It was really hard. It was not fun. And then as far as sticking to this diet as it goes with my job, when I do my regular day job, it was super tough. I mean, having to go out to eat, I mean, you're incredibly restricted. And then there was another thing too, is that going to the grocery store and shopping was really hard because, one of the big parts about this is you cut out sugar really almost all the way out. And, try good luck. Once you start looking at the backs of those packages and really seeing what's in there, you're going to see sugar in probably 98% of almost everything that's out there. So for me, it was, all the stuff that I had liked or always been told was healthy for me. It was kind of a shock actually to look through and go, God, there's just so much sugar in everything. So having to work around that, having to prep a lot more of my food myself to make my own recipes that I would find on the internet, give me kind of the same taste. It's just all the stuff that, you always loved, but now you're working at you have to prep it yourself, you have to make it yourself. It just became a little bit more of a hassle. So I think the ketogenic diet is pretty good. I like it, but I think right now it's just now kind of really starting to catch up steam. So I think that moving forward, there's going to be a lot of products out there that kind of cater towards the ketogenic lifestyle, ketogenic diet. But right now, it's hard. It is tough. It's hard. I mean, you've got to be on your stuff. Like, and the worst part is, so with most diets, you know, you have a cheat day or a cheat week or whatever, you know, it's good. You're good to go. You know, you just work it off and go. With this, it's not like that. If you have a cheat or you fall off the wagon, you know, you're going through that. You could throw yourself out of ketosis, and then you got to go another 72 hours, 48 hours, depending on your body type, your genetics, and then you got to get back into ketosis. So that aspect of it is pretty tough. And yeah, so would I advise somebody who is brand new, never got into any kind of diets or anything like that before? I would say no. Right off the bat, this is not the right way for you to go. I would suggest you have to get yourself to a certain point before you jump off that ledge. I think if you jump off the ledge and you don't last the 3 days, you're just going to end up, you know, it's not going to be great. But if you're the type of person that can make it through those 3 days, you know, and stick with it, and if you fall down, get back up and stick with it again, I mean, results can't lie. I cut out most of my working out. I cut out a lot of stuff, and I was still able to lose a pretty good deal of weight in only a 6-week period. So really, you know, another thing that is kind of scary is if you have any kind of other issues, any underlying issues and stuff like that, ketogenic diet might not be for you. If you have any heart issues, any problems with, you know, fats, I mean, the whole diet is fats, right? So you might want to be very conscious about that before you ever start a diet, especially someone who is, you know, has other underlying health issues. Always talk to a doctor first. Never just try something. You always have to, at this point, you have to check with your doctor first. You cannot just say, I'm going for it, because this is such a different diet than probably what your diet's been for forever, really. So for somebody who's just getting into changing their life and getting into this, I would say hold off on this. I would say your best bet is to start curbing your appetite, start training your body to eat better, cleaner, and then once you get to a certain point, dive off the edge and get after it. For somebody who is just getting into this and brand new, I would say hold off a little bit. Get to a certain point where you know you're going to follow through all the way, and then go for it. But anyways, these are my thoughts. These are my own opinions. And, you know, tell me what you think. Any questions you have about the diet, just leave them below, and I'll make sure I try to get to you. All right. Thanks again. Have a great day. Bye, guys.